If you are spending £2,000 a month or more on ads, but your calendar still isn't filling the way it should, there's a good chance the problem isn't your funnel right now. And it probably isn't your offer either. It's something I've been noticing really recently, especially when speaking to business owners who've been running ads consistently for quite some time. And that is many of them actually built really large audiences. Thousands of people watching their videos, thousands of people clicking on their ads, thousands of people engaging with their content. Yet, when we take a look at the real outcome, the calendar is still only half booked. And then that creates a really confusing situation inside the business itself. Because can you think about this? When you open up the ad account, it doesn't immediately look like something's broken. I mean, people are still clicking, people are still watching, and sometimes engagement's even increasing. So on the surface, it appears that the ads are doing really, really well. But when you step back and look at what's actually happening in the business, book calls, qualified leads, real conversations with potential clients, the activity inside the ad account does not match this outcome. And that's the disconnect that is usually the first sign that something else is happening right now. And what is usually happens next is actually quite interesting. Business owners start digging deeper into their ad account, trying to understand what's changed. They analyze things like cost per click. They compare campaigns that used to work well with the ones that are running now. They study engagement metrics, and a lot of the numbers still look brilliant or perfectly reasonable at least. So people are still clicking, they're still watching, they're still interacting with their ads. But when you zoom out and look at who those people actually are, something becomes clearer. The ads are attracting attention, just not from the people the business was hoping to reach. And when that starts happening, something subtle begins to occur inside the advertising system. Your retargeting audiences start to fill up with people who look engaged, but who were never really potential buyers in the first place. And they're people who enjoy your content, they were curious about your marketing, they're people who like learning about the business, but they're not necessarily people who are actively looking for a service right now or looking to buy something. They're not looking for the service that's actually being advertised. And once that audience begins to form, it slowly changes how your ad account behaves, as you can imagine, because every single campaign you launch is now learning from the same engagement signals, which means the system continues finding more people who behave in a similar way. This became even more noticeable after Meta rolled out that Andromeda update last year, because now the platform optimized much more heavily around behavior. In simple terms, the system basically pays more closer attention to what people actually do with the content, what people are watching, what they're interacting with, what they scroll past. And over time, as you can imagine, the algorithm begins to build a profile of the type of person who's engaging with your ads. So can you imagine if your content attracts more curious scrollers, other marketers, or people who just simply enjoy the topic but have no intention of buying, the system's just going to continue to find more of the people just like them, which means that your ads can look really busy while your calendar really stays really quiet. And when business owners start noticing what's happening, the natural assumption is that fixing the problem will take a long time. They're assuming that something inside their funnel must need rebuilding, or that their offer needs changing, or that the entire marketing system needs reworking. But interestingly, the real correction actually happens much earlier than that. It happens the first moment your ads attract attention. Because once your content begins attracting the right kinds of problems and the right kinds of viewers that you know that you can help, the whole behavior pattern inside the ad account begins to shift. And then your retargeting audience begins filling with people who would actually recognize the problem you solve, instead of the people who simply enjoy watching marketing content. And once that shift begins, the campaigns further down the funnel start behaving very differently, because now the system is learning from the right signals and the ads start reaching the people who are already close to becoming your clients in the first place. So, if you're currently spending on ads but your calendar still isn't filling the way it should, it might be worth taking a closer look at who your ads are actually attracting right now. Because very often the issue isn't actually how much you're spending, and it isn't how hard the system's working or how many videos you're creating or how many ads you're putting out. It's simply that the behavior signals feeding the algorithm aren't coming from the right audience yet. Now, if you want help diagnosing whether that might be happening inside your ad account right now, you can send me a message directly. You could just go to tinasandford.com/contact. and that's got all the ways of contacting me in there. And then you could just, we'll just have a quick chat about how your campaigns are running. And then from there, we can usually identify fairly quickly whether the issue is actually happening inside your funnel or whether it's just your audience that's feeding the funnel simply needs adjusting.